Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to talk about XRP and Ripple and how it actually could actually kind of pop and have a fairly large surge in the near future. And this actually has to do with the price action and the increase in shorts recently. Now, when I say pop, I mean maybe double, triple its price. I don't mean it's going to jump to $5 or $10. That's just not going to happen. And if your DCA is towards the all-time high price, you're still kind of out of luck, and you're basically depending on a giant altcoin FOMO to get it up to that much. And that's possible because it's been up to 384 before. So if you actually are depending on the FOMO, then it could actually get up to that much during like the next alt season, whenever the hell that actually happens. So based on what I just said, I do think for those of us who have DCAs in the 30, 40, or 50 cent range could actually go past our dollar cost average. And that will give those of us a chance to sell out at a higher price than we sold in for, therefore getting profit. Or for those other people, it could give us a chance to it could definitely give us a chance to sell out at a higher price, and then when it retraces, which inevitably will, it could get us to more than double our XRP holdings. This has to do with the upcoming swell and some of the other stuff that I will actually talk about. So let's go into it. First of all, Brad Garlinghouse said $1 billion volume by the end of 2020. Now, a lot of people, I think more people now think that's actually including I think like lifeboats, think that's actually $1 billion total volume by 2020 rather than $1 billion a day, because Garlinghouse did not specify $1 billion a day, so people are thinking it's $1 billion total volume. Now that's a year and a half away. It's $1 billion total volume by the end of 2020. That's like $3 million a day. That is not going to affect prices at least for like another almost year and a half, and probably for much longer than that. So for maybe like the next 2 years, utility is not really going to push up price any if it's $1 billion total volume by the end of 2020. Even if it's $1 billion daily volume, it's not going to be a huge increase in price, because even at this current price, if you look at the circulating supply, the total supply, it's easily enough to handle $1 billion in volume with only a small, maybe like 15% of the supply with room to actually spare. The other 85% you could generally just use for anything else, whether speculating or other activities. And while the stuff with coil is nice, I think that's going to take a couple of years to mature at least. So in the next year or two, a year and a half, 2 years, I don't think utilization is going to put us to price, which actually brings us back to FOMO and kind of events like what I think could unfold between now and November. We know that swell is coming up beginning of November, and there's always a pre-swell pump for XRP. We also know from the last few days that the number of shorts on XRP has actually increased 170%. Now, that could go very badly, because the number of shorts, people look at it, that's market expectations, could even push the price down even further, actually much further. And I don't know where the next floor is, because the first strong floor of 28 cents has actually been smashed. I don't think the floor of 25 cents is actually nearly as strong. So it could go really badly the other way. But there is a chance that what I'm about to say is actually going to happen, and could push price upwards towards 60 cents or maybe slightly higher. So we all know that there is a swell pump, and because people get excited about the conference, there's going to be new things announced in the conference. From what I see from like the conference speakers this year, it doesn't really look all that exciting, but people are going to speculate. There's always, like after swell last year with the XRP announcement, there were all these kind of rumors and speculations, all of them which turned out to be pretty much untrue. But I'm sure there's going to be the same thing that actually happens this year. People are going to get excited, and if this price holds and swell comes and it pushes the price to about 35 cents because of all the rumors and the excitement heading into swell, which is entirely possible, that would actually force probably a lot of the shorts to actually liquidate in what we call a short squeeze. Shorts is where you actually bet against the coin, but there are things called margin calls, where if the price goes above a certain price, you get margin called, you have to pay fees, and then if the price all of a sudden goes to like 35, 36 cents, an increase of nearly 30%, many people will not be able to afford those, and will actually be forced to liquidate those shorts. Now, when you liquidate a lot of shorts at once, that completely pushes the price up again. And we know this can happen because we saw it happen with Bitcoin not so long ago. The shorts for Bitcoin were pretty high, and over the course of like basically a couple of hours, when Bitcoin jumped, 2,000 points. Well, not 2,000, even like it was actually like 1,500 points. When Bitcoin jumped 1,500 points, a lot of those shorts on the short chart actually just collapsed, and Bitcoin went like 1,000 points higher immediately. So that's how XRP can pump as well. And note that the fact that shorts for XRP has increased 170% lately, if swell rumors and anticipation for swell and announcements actually brings XRP suddenly up to about 36, 37 cents, which is possible, definitely. I won't say likely, but possible. The additional of collapsing shorts and short squeezing could actually bring the price up close to 50 cents, which would then trigger another FOMO period and maybe bring it up to 60, maybe even 70 cents. Now, when that actually happens, you will probably want to sell because utilization will be nowhere near enough to actually sustain that price. So it will slowly retrace. It might quickly retrace for 10 cents and then slowly retrace over the next few months. Over back to maybe like 28 cents, which was our last bottom. We saw this happen at the last swell. I don't know if the short squeeze thing happened, because I didn't really look at the short situation on the graph leading up to September, but that could actually happen this time. There could be like anticipation of swell pushing the price up to 36 cents, a short squeeze all of a sudden pushing the price up towards 50 cents, and then another wave of FOMO pushing the price up to 70 cents. Now, what I'm going to do is when that first wave actually comes and we push to 36 cents and it kind of stabilizes at that plateau, I'm going to keep waiting. And then if the next wave doesn't happen for a few days and I see the FOMO price starting to teeter off, then I would actually sell and buy back in at a lower price. But I would wait a few days because sometimes there's like a second wave and then the shorts will start to liquidate. Now, on the second wave of 50, if it goes up to 50 cents pre-swell and then it kind of teeters there for maybe a day or two, I will probably sell part of my holdings. And then, if it starts going down, I will actually buy back in. If I see another sudden spike up to 60 or 70 cents, I probably sell the entire holdings and just wait for the price to retrace so I can buy in at a lower price. So because that gives me a chance to double my XRP without actually using any money. So that's kind of my plan for right now. If I see a plateau after one leg of the rise, I'm going to wait a few days before doing any kind of selling because we might have a second or third leg because of additional FOMO or because very likely of a short squeeze because shorts have gone up by so much for XRP. So shorts going up by 170% may not actually be such a bad thing right now because that, especially pre-swell, because that opens up the possibility of a short squeeze where a lot of the shorts just liquidate. And we've seen this happen with Bitcoin before. So it's very possible that it'll actually happen with XRP. And that's how XRP might pop off pre-swell. You will want to sell somewhere pretty close to swell if this happens because after swell, I'm almost sure it will actually retrace. It might take a couple of months to retrace, but I'm almost sure it will actually retrace because a utility will just not be there to actually match the price, and that will actually lead to a retrace. But it could be a possibility for you to sell off at a decent profit if you're DCA'd in fairly low like myself. And for everyone, it could be a great possibility for you to actually make some profit selling XRP at a higher price and then buying back in at a lower price. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you and have a nice day.